All right, welcome back, everyone, to our daily live stream. We're being the supreme authority of your reality, reclaiming all the places that we have unconsciously given up our power to the outer world, and using the law of assumption, different methodologies that we are doing here together daily. We're bringing it back. We're making sure that our world can actually reflect your wish fulfilled, and it really can become who you actually are. So the term, like we use in law of assumption, that everyone is you pushed out, right? Or your outer world is just a mirror of you, can finally make sense. So if you're new here, I highly suggest that you go back to all the past videos so you can follow along. For everybody else, we're going to just keep going. Yesterday we worked on, this workshop that, again, is in my Unmasking Manipulation course. And we've been working with, okay, what happens when we feel manipulated by others or the outer world, and how to breathe through that, and then how to actually use these moments to generate like more imaginable direction, more focus, and to really like bring forth your wish fulfilled in the most consistent, powerful, and like now. To me, it's all about, okay, living in the end is, if you know what we've been doing recently, how to generate your senses. They're not passively observing anymore. And you can do it in the moment. You can do it as it's happening, especially when you would normally get triggered. You would normally react. You would normally, make meaning that something's gotten wrong. This is what we are here to do, is take back those moments, because that's your opportunity to take your power back. Whatever you're reacting to, wherever you feel stuck, it's only ever an invitation for you to take your power back. Whatever's showing up, it is still your mirror, but right, it's usually from some conditioned belief system that we have when we were growing up, that we have to take those back if we're going to be the operant power. So I'm going to go back to our workshop first. We're going to listen along together, and then, like we did last time, we will take this material and generate the senses together. And ideally, right, learn how to take really what would normally be such a reactive pattern when we are being manipulated, right? When there is guilt or there's shame, and normally we would submit and get stuck in a pattern again, instead of just claiming our wish fulfilled, revising it, and eating up that emotion, eating up the situation, not reacting to the dead mirror, right? These are the moments that we're just trying to get really good at, so it doesn't throw you off anymore. And when it happens, because it will, it's not a big deal. You know what to do. And I've talked about this before. The more you do it proactively like this, I find the less your outer world has to get your attention. So let's listen in, and then we'll do it all together.
Dealing with manipulative tactics and pouting. Another client chimes in, a high-profile executive who's been dealing with an employee who uses passive-aggressive tactics and pouting to manipulate situations. You can see the frustration in his eyes, the way he's been caught in the web of these childish games. She's always sulking, he says, exasperated. She uses guilt. She pouts when things don't go her way. And somehow I end up giving in just to avoid the drama. How do I stop this? Smile, a sly, knowing smile that lets him know he's about to learn something. Pouting is just another form of manipulation, you say, your voice cool, controlled. It's a tactic used to make you feel guilty, to make you question your decisions, to sway you into doing what they want. But here's the truth. You don't owe them anything. You don't owe them a change in your decision, a bending of your will. You owe them nothing but the authority of your own power. He's listening intently now, hanging on your every word. When they pout, when they sulk, you don't react with guilt, with doubt. You react with calm, unyielding authority. You continue, your voice a low purr. You hold firm to your decision, knowing that their pouting has no power over you. You see through their manipulation and you stand in your truth. You remind yourself that you are the one in control, that your decision is. Inner Conversation LLC 2025, 66. final, and that their games have no effect on you. You are the authority, the one who commands, and they will fall in line. You see the recognition in his eyes, the understanding that he has the power to stop the manipulation, to end the games. Remember, the world and all within it is man's conditioned consciousness objectified. You quote Neville, your voice steady, sure. What you believe, what you assume, is what becomes true. Assume that you are the one in control, that their tactics don't affect you, and watch as reality conforms to that belief. Attempts at guilt tripping and emotional, you move on.
Emotional blackmail. We're going to do that one tomorrow. Okay. So, just to kind of recap this and how important this is, because again, as we come into being the supreme authority of our reality and your wish fulfilled, whether it's big or small, right? In terms of wish fulfilled, we'll have those like bigger life themes, but ultimately, if you're the supreme authority, then in every moment, your day should be, if we are in our state of supreme authority, or what I say goes, it's just going to reflect my preference, my desire, my wish fulfilled. Then, like morning, noon, and night, the day is tailor made to my preference, tailor made to my excitement, tailor made to whatever, anything I could ever want, the people, the opportunities, the lifestyle, the house, the money. If it's all my consciousness pushed out, all my imagination, right? There's no too big, there's no too small. And whatever it is I desire, right? That is the larger dimensional version of myself that I already have it. So from the smallest preference to like how you like your coffee, to the house you want to be in, to the type of music you want to hear, the food you want to be tasting, the conversations you're having with the company that you keep. We're getting to the place with supreme authority where it's all supreme, it's all blissful, it's all sublime, right? It is your own personal heaven, paradise, whatever you want to call that, right? Because what else would be the point? Why even have these desires and your own particular preference if it wasn't to have that in your world, right? Especially if you are the only one. If it is only your consciousness objectified, then everything, right, would of course be tailored to your preference, and everyone being a reflection of you would cater to that, would be in collaboration, be in harmony of that. And this is where, be it big or small, anytime an emotion like guilt or shame, right, or that conditioning of like, I need to do something for the mirror to give me something, that is what we're consistently like breaking down and bringing our power back and be like, nope, it's just a mirror. It just reflects my preference. It just reflects my wish fulfilled. And so on that journey of realizing that, all the subtle ways that we were giving up our power to a dead mirror, it's going to come up. And this is why there's no moment too big or too small to not take your power back. And with certainty, to notice, okay, I'm feeling guilt. I'm feeling shame. I'm feeling like something is wrong. Right away, that's your emotional cue. You're reacting to the mirror. Or it could just be a thought, but if any emotion that's not like neutral, bliss, confidence, joy, expansive, peace, neutrality, if it is like there's a tightness, there's a restriction, anxiety, guilt, shame, like I said, fear, frustration, that is your cue. You're giving up your power somewhere. And so on this journey, we're learning to be aware of that. And then instead of reacting to that emotion or reacting to the mirror, we're going to do it live right now. We learn to like take note and be like, okay, here's a place to take back my power, to stay in my agency, to hold the throne as we've talked about. And here's a pivotal moment for my senses to generate, no longer be passive, right? Because we're done with that, submitting as well. Generate whatever my preference is, would be, and allowing whatever emotion I'm feeling to transmute it and actually fuel that. I've talked about in the early videos, like eating the emotion up, eating the circumstances up, like swallowing it, realizing you're bigger than it, and then commanding the emotions, decreeing the emotions, and decreeing the senses to like overlay on top of that. What is your preference? What are you here to create then? And this is how we also get to know, like, what is my preference as the God of my reality? What does my own personal like paradise view look like? And it becomes this ongoing and imaginal act where instead of it's not working, I'm reacting to this, there's actually a curiosity about it of like, okay, like let's get clearer and clearer of what this all looks like and generate it here and now. I don't wait one more second. So let's do this together. I want you to imagine the most recent time that you felt guilted by your circumstances, by another, whether it actually happened out there or it was even just like communication or texting, like there was some type of nagging of like, oh, they're not going to like this. A big thing I noticed, right, when I was first starting to do inner conversations, and it still happens, is I would be like, okay, like, what do I want to hear? And what do I want to see? And there'd be this sneaky little voice of like, well, they don't want to do that. They won't like that. They won't be into it, whatever it was. And it was such a like sneaky little like guilt voice that had me consistently conditioning my desires. But you know, as Neville talks about that, you don't condition your desire. You allow it to be as big as it needs to be to the T of what you desire. You are the only one. This is your world. And then to have the courage, right, that others are going to celebrate that and be in harmony with that. And that's where we do the inner conversations. We can see them, experience them with our imaginal acts first. We're not trying to change them out there. It doesn't matter. And it takes courage, it takes bravery, but then we are bringing out the best in others. And then if everyone really is you pushed out, they're going to obviously reflect supporting your biggest desires and your smallest ones. That just makes sense. There's going to be, you know, harmony in that. So think of that moment. Let's take a big breath in and out, and go ahead and allow that moment to come through where you felt a little like maybe a big like tinge of guilt, of shame, or frustration. And I really want you to breathe into the belly. It's going to help you stay in your body as this happens, because normally too, when we're reacting, it goes up here. We get stuck in our heads. And this is where take your power back, breathe big into the belly. And especially as you learn to generate your senses, like keep breathing in and out. It's also helpful to command that as you breathe, your breath is the one controlling this whole projection, right? As you breathe in and out, you are the life force behind all of it. I know it might still feel like it's some outer mirror that's happening to you and some outer life and separate wills, but we're done with that. We're done with second causes. We're not doing that anymore. So we're just kind of claiming my breath is the one that sets us all off in the first place. I'm going to take this time to get back into my body to remind myself I'm in control. I'm the power, right? I'm the dominant force in my reality. I'm the dominatrix. I am the king, queen, whatever resonates with you, whatever brings you into a place of power. Give yourself the symbolism of it. Like this is all me pushed out. And as I feel this guilt or shame or fear or frustration, I'm going to eat that up. I'm going to swallow it. I'm going to swallow the entire circumstance and let it fuel me, because it's only showing up to bring my power back. So keep breathing into it. We're never afraid of it. We're just eating it up. And now we can ask yourself, okay, what do I want this to be? What is underneath all this? What do I want to decree with certainty? Let it be simple. I know it's not this. I know that whatever is occurring that's causing frustration or shame or anger, I know that's not my truth. So without even conditioning it, what's the truth? What's the one that would feel freeing? What's the one that would feel blissful? What's the one that would feel like I'm supported, I'm carried? What's the one that would just feel natural to me? Like just a natural extension of me. What would I say? What would they be saying back? And this is where we start to really get the senses, okay? So like, let's start with that. Like, what am I hearing, but what do I want to hear? So generate the hearing right now. What do you want to hear? That would just confirm your wish fulfilled. That would just, again, feel, if you don't know exactly, just what would feel more expansive. What do you want to hear that would be in agreement to who you are? That would be in agreement to something that feels good to you. That would just be validating of you. What would you hear? Hear that now. Have your ears generate it. Hear it. Even if it's just you're reading the message, you're like, oh, that's what they're saying. Okay. What would you see? Now generate the senses, right? Project that out. What's the vision that actually aligns with who you are? We're going to go ahead and bring that into reality because that's the true reality. What vision would bring more lightness, would bring more expansion, would bring more just peace to you, more bliss, more excitement? It would just feel like natural, like, yep, okay, that's me. That's actually my mirror. That makes sense. That's reflecting me. What would the touch be? So with touch too, it's like, what would you be holding? What objects would you be holding? If there's a person involved, what type of touch between the two of you or multiple people would again feel expansive, would feel blissful, would feel affirming, comforting, like relief? And generate that now with the imaginal hands. Touch it. Be touched by it, which is you touching you still. If there's objects involved, touch that. Now, what's the taste? Generate the taste with it. Whether it's a celebratory drink, some delicious food, even like the taste of just like good air, right? What is the taste? I mean, really, you could drink really delicious water in this scene. And then what's the smell? Smell is so powerful. What's the smell here? Again, you're going to notice what maybe the old smell was. Bring life to it. What's the smell that feels expansive to you? That feels more luxurious, that feels more comforting, that feels like relief, that feels inspiring, that feels like connection instead of stagnancy. I do find it's helpful too when there's like frustration or shame or anger. What's the current smell? And then just what's just the opposite? And even as you just say the word within, your nose, as you do this, it starts to pick it up like, oh yeah, it's not, instead of that stagnant smell, it's vibrant, it's fresh, it's, exotic, or it's just like opulent. There's a smell of just prosperity. Things are moving, right? And then just kind of bring it all together, right? So now keep breathing really big in and out as we took that old scenario where before you were like giving in and trying to give the mirror something that it doesn't need anyway. And now you're fulfilling your imaginal act for what you want it to be. You're taking that guilt, that shame, that fear, that frustration, and you're letting it just fuel your preference again. So put it all together. Breathe in, and then what do you hear? Generate that now. Hear it again. Whatever you want to hear. What do you see? Generate the vision here and now in this moment. Put it right in front of you. What do you taste? What's the touch? What are you holding? What are you touching? What are you being touched by? The smells. And just like the feel in general, right? Instead of the tightness of guilt or the shame of like the cowering of shame or the constriction of frustration, is it like the safety of just belonging? Your body's totally relaxed. Is it the, instead of guilt, like just the full-hearted love of just I'm perfection and others in my world celebrate that with me, and I can say and do anything and I can do no wrong? Or instead of frustration, is it like the relief of like, oh, it's done, it's taken care of for me. My world has got me. They know what I need. Here's a solution. It was done for me. I didn't lift a finger. And just the overall sensation, that's the state of being. And as you learn to move from these states of shame, guilt, fear, frustration, where you used to give up your power and then you have to go face it again, as you do this, it gets easier and easier to continue to generate your true reality and your true reflection. And then you realize, yeah, okay, out there, really, there's nothing to be bothered by out there. Anything that was ever showing up, it was just to reclaim my power and like get clear on my preference and bring it into reality. So Keep it going. Let me know in the comments what you experienced, and I will see you all tomorrow.